Some stories begin with distance, not just miles, but mirrors that don't quite reflect back to who you are. Ollie's journey began across an ocean, but ultimately being adopted and leaving Korea behind, to enter a world where love existed, but understanding did not always follow. Growing up in a white, deeply religious household, Ollie learned how belonging can be conditional and how silence can be taught as faith. Trauma doesn't always arrive as violence, sometimes it lives in erasure. In being told who you should be before being asked who you really are. This is not a story about blame, it's a story about survival, about searching for identity in unfamiliar mirrors, about finding light without denying the darkness that shaped you. This is Ollie's story, and like all stories, it lives in the space between what was lost and what was reclaimed. This is The Other Side, Light and Darkness. Just to preface, we don't claim to know everything about everything. These are stories just to demonstrate experiences that people have been through. So to start off, if someone met you for the first time, what's something you'd want them to know about you that has nothing to do with your adoption or trauma?
I'm a creative, so I love creating things. It doesn't matter what medium they are, whether it's pen on paper, clay, digital. I just love creating things and putting new things into the world for not only myself, because attention, but I like being able to touch people's hearts. I feel like influence is the wrong word, but just being able to be like, hey, like maybe this might impact you, hopefully in a good way, but...
Absolutely. Awesome. So we're here today. We spoke, obviously we had to speak before doing this.
Yeah.
So your story is centering around you immigrated into kind of like a religious, traumatic, racist family, if I gathered that right.
Yeah.
Is that
certain aspects of my family is like a little like... I don't know if you should say that to your adopted daughter.
Right. So
family member.
Where did you adopt from? How old were you?
So I was born in August, and I didn't come here until March the following year. I was under a year old. I know I celebrated my first birthday here. I was born in the northern part of South Korea, so actually quite close to the North Korean, South Korean border.
Oh, wow.
It was actually a small little town, but I was born in Seoul, the hospital there, and then swiftly brought to foster care in South Korea. I was with a foster family for majority of the first year of my life, just due to my biological mother not being able to take care of me.
Gotcha. Those were the circumstances. She just wasn't able to care for you the way you need?
Yeah, she was 17, and she had other family members to take care of. She had younger siblings to take care of, financially, and just wanting to pursue the education before anything else.
And where do you stay? How do you feel about that today? And did you ever feel, growing up, kind of resentment or sadness or any type of feeling? Or
funny enough, when I was younger, I didn't have that, but once I hit those like teenage years, it really kind of started where I was like, did she just not love me?
Right.
And so I've always felt this sort of disconnect, because obviously my family is the only thing I've ever known, my adopted family, but I never felt like it was family. I always felt like I was a spectator in a home. The foster mom would write correspondence with my adoptive mom, kind of detailing...
Hi! Hello!
Detailing, like, oh, how's my progress? Like, apparently I was just a very cheerful, very bubbly child. All I wanted to do was laugh. I was very responsive. I loved staring at the TV. And I loved all my stuffed animals. So, yeah. Still, to this day, my emotional support peach.
Do you know any information on how your adopted family, everyone has a story of how they get into adoption, so
my mother really wanted a daughter. From what I know is that she did have a miscarriage on her first pregnancy, and from what they knew, or at least what she hoped, it would be a girl. So in her heart, the baby that she lost was a little girl, and then she proceeded to have two sons. her grandmother actually gave her the money to go ahead with adopting. At first, they were going to go with a little girl from Cambodia, but that actually fell through. And then the adoption agency was like, we have this little girl from Korea who needs a family. And my mom was like, I knew it right then and there. Like, you were my little girl.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. My mom is like Italian German heritage, and my dad is an English mutt. My brother growing up had super blonde hair, like greenish blue eyes, and my mom had the brown eyes. So I think one brother got the greenish blue eyes and my other brother got brown eyes. The interesting thing is it was always like a quiet chaos, but it was, when it was bad, it was like bad type of deal. Like, I remember it was actually around this time of year, me and my dad, we were sitting on our recliner, and I was sitting like on his side, and my mom comes down. She was doing her master's program at the time, and she's really frustrated with one of the professors turning in work. I don't remember, and she was just like kind of having a moment, not exactly yelling at my dad, but she was yelling at my dad, and something just snapped, and he gets up, I get thrown off, and next thing I know, we're on the ground. And my dad is on top of her, basically choking her out.
Wow.
And then she's crying, she runs upstairs. My dad, I don't remember where my dad went. And we had this little, like the Kool-Aid jammer.
Yeah.
And so we had one of those filled with sand decorated to be an angel. In the process of that, I remember seeing on the ground there's sand everywhere. So I quietly went and got the broom, I swept it up, the coffee table back into place, and I just kept on watching TV, and it was never spoken about ever again.
And how old were you?
I had to be maybe 5 or 6 at the time.
Was that the first time, or was that like you were kind of used to it by then, or?
That was like the first time I remember something like that happening.
Do you remember how you felt in that moment? Did you feel fear, or did you just?
I kind of just was like, okay, this, I don't know why it feels normal, but this is just what I'm gonna do. I cleaned up because I was like, oh, mommy and daddy are fighting, like.
Yeah, one would say,
yeah,
damn.
Yeah, so I just kind of went about my day, and then I did whatever my 5-year-old self.
Wow, it's fascinating to see how kids respond to trauma, because I remember watching my father choke my stepmother in knocking the bookshelves down, and I was screaming, and I was very upset, and my half brother was like, stop, pointing to me hiding in the bathroom.
I remember feeling turned up, everything shut down in my body, and I was just watching it happen. I didn't yell to stop or get off of her. I just kind of stood there, just if I don't move, nothing bad can happen. So I was like, well, if I get into it, then I'm going to get in trouble because this is an adult matter.
Yeah. I'm sorry that you've had to experience some of these things, and I'm sure that it was a common occurrence, perhaps, maybe, or...
It was, funny enough, compared to a lot of people, it's they grew up in severely abusive households where it was every single day. For us, it was very quiet. It was a quiet abuse. There was always this thing looming over us where it's it could happen, but we know it might not.
Yeah, but I almost feel like that's, in a way, kind of worse. For me, growing up, it was kind of an everyday kind of thing, but you kind of are used to that, in a way, in a sense that, but if you are unsure if it's going to happen, that kind of gives a different kind of anxiety or stress, not knowing when the shoe is going to drop.
Exactly, because it's always hanging in the air.
Kitty, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
It's unreal.
Being the other in your own home, did you ever feel like that? Feeling like you were the other, an outsider?
I never inherently felt like that, but I was made to feel like that a lot. I think, so this ties in with living in an abusive household. My brother got a lot of it. I never really had a hand laid on me by my parents. He got the brunt of it from my father. He experienced a lot of the physical abuse, him and my mother. But I think there was a resentment in him that caused him to kind of have helpers at me. So he would practice wrestling on me, so he would like pile drive me. And
your brother?
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
I remember one time, I'm like a 40-pound, like 3-foot child, like, and he's, 5 foot something, 100 something pounds, and he's taking his foot and driving into my chest, and I'm laying on my back on the floor, and he's like bouncing up and down on me. And I remember there were times where I'd get mad, and like he was like trying to do like a WWE move on me, and
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I took his hat and I grabbed his hair and I slammed him into the bedpost, and he had a goose egg from that. And I ran as fast as I could because he was screaming and crying. My dad comes in, he's like, "What happened?" And he's like, "You need to go outside." And I went outside and I was out there and I was just like playing in the mud. So I was like, I don't know what to do, but he was hurting me.
The topic of adoption, being adopted, was that ever brought up or like thrown in your face where you had to be grateful or, should be grateful, look what we've done for you?
Not in a very like, oh, why aren't you being grateful? Like, you could be like there, but it's more like it was always there. My mother never like wanted, obviously she can't keep it a secret. I don't look like my family, so she was always like, I want you to be proud that you're adopted because you might not have been born from me, but you were born in my heart. That's where Jesus put you.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where God put you.
Were you close with your mom or?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. How is she going to feel about talking about this? Is she gonna,
if she sees it.
Oh, if she sees it? Okay.
I don't think she would.
Okay. Interesting.
But she always said, like, you were born in my heart, maybe not from my body, but you are my daughter. And she says that to this day because me and her share a lot of health ailments together. And she's like, you really are my daughter. Like, how? We don't share genetics, but you suffer the same things as me. And I'm like, I don't know.
Without sharing more than you're comfortable with, how did racism show up in your family through jokes, comments, silence, expectations, or the way they talked about people who looked like you?
So a lot of this ties to my brother. He was the one who was the most outwardly to my face. He would like pull his eyes back at me and make, very typical, stereotypical, like racial remarks. And he said that he wanted to put me in a box and ship me back to where I belonged.
Oh, wow.
And
I'm very sorry.
It's okay. It happens. I've kind of grown to a point where I'm like coming to terms with it. But he was always, always, always on my back about it.
Yeah, when you're that young, like, do you know the weight of his words, really? Like, I mean, you're like 7, but...
It didn't hit until... Again, my teenage years, like this, and it continued on a lot. He would call me like a chink. Though, when people are like making fun of like Chinese people and they try to mimic the language.
Yeah.
He would do that at me a lot.
Not a fan of this guy. I don't know if you are. I don't know if you've restored anything. Nope. Okay, maybe that's good.
It's for the best.
It's for the best. Some things need to stay broken.
We have a cordial relationship. Like, we are friendly with each other, but it never goes past that. Yeah. Like, there are times when, because there were a lot of good times that I had with my brother, and like, I kind of miss that. Like, when I was younger, I did look up to him a lot. And I actually found my love of video games because of him. Like, we would play Call of Duty together. And he literally, like, had this teeny tiny little Xbox controller, and he would always give it to me because he knew I liked it. Or he's like, your controller's in the closet in the drawer, or whatever. And I would run and go get it, because it was the only one that my teeny tiny little baby hands could fit around. Right. And we would, have his radio on in the background, listening to music, and then we'd just be playing Call of Duty, and it was always like one of those things where it's like, he'd poke fun at the little sister when you're playing video games.
Right.
But I didn't think it was ever out of like malice. It was just
Right.
like, okay, we're siblings. We're actually siblings right
Yeah,
now. It's not
wow.
I'm fighting for my life and I'm having to survive through this.
Wow, it's really profound that you're able to like say he did these awful things that really did harm me, but you can also look back and be like, there were moments of good. There were moments, and I think that's a very mature thing to do. I think you have a lot of emotional intelligence to be able to do that, so.
And I honestly liked video games. I started getting into them because I thought maybe we could connect. Maybe
Right.
some of the bad things would stop if I just knew how to connect with them.
Yeah. But they didn't, unfortunately. No.
Unfortunately, not until like late high school. I'd say the middle still not. There was a very like cataclysmic night. Like, so my brother ran up the credit card that my parents had. It was like $6,000. Wrestling figures. Yeah, my dad was. If steam could come out of his ears, it would.
Yeah.
And that was the night when he cornered my brother in our upstairs bathroom and began to, like, beat on him. Like, to the point where I remember the towel rack had gotten ripped down because my brother was grabbing onto it.
Oh, wow.
And from what I know is that my dad, like beat him, like, took his foot and stomped him. Because I remember we had pictures of the bruises that were all over my brother's body. And my brother, in his underwear, runs out of the house and is standing outside screaming. And my dad gets in the van and he's backing out, almost runs him over. My brother books it. So we live in a cul-de-sac. So
what's that?
A little roundabout. Basically.
Oh, roundabout. Okay,
Yeah.
I can picture it. Okay.
And so the neighbors, obviously, so they see that and they contact CPS. So, I think that was late spring. So it was just about to be the end of the year at school. And I get called to the nurse's office. And I'm like, I don't think we're doing lice checks this late into the year, right? And I get in there and there's a bald man sitting in front of me. I say that because it, like, that's how much, I'm like, there's a bald man sitting.
And when you're 10 years old, those are the descriptors that come to mind. I get
I'm
it.
like, he is sitting here and he's like, hi, Olivia, do you want to come and sit and have a chat? And the nurse excuses herself. And she's like, I'll be back, guys. And he's like, how are things at home? Do you feel safe at home? Like, asking the usual CPS questions. At the end, he's like, I just wanted you to know that I'm with Child Protective Services, and we did have an anonymous tip about something that might have been going on in your home. And so that was rough. I remember my mom picked me up, taking me out of school, and she said, we're going to be going to your grandparents for a little bit. Like, we're going to be staying there. And I was like, oh, and this feeling washes over me. And I'm like, I'm never going home again. And I didn't. Not until I had to pack up everything in my home and then drive away for the last time. And that was the last time for at least 2-3 years. I didn't see that house for 2-3 years. So when I was little, I always had this thing where, like, I didn't realize it was anxiety, but now I do. Because it was like this pain in my stomach, and something just doesn't feel right, something feels wrong, and I don't know what it is. And it feels like I want to claw my skin off, but I didn't know how to explain that as a child, so I just kept it. And I just remember laying there, and I was on my side, like, looking under the bed at the light, because the light was still on. My grandpa was still up. He was doing, like, his nightly reading. I was just like...
I just want to make sure you're
yeah,
okay.
it's just like, I'm unlocking things that I didn't remember before.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh!
No, I mean, hearing things that you're saying, it's because I've been speaking to individuals with trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, yeah, it brings you back and stuff like that, and stuff, places you haven't gone. I remember, like, you were talking about CPS and being questioned. I'm like, was that a question? I remember speaking to a law guardian. I just remember wooden floors, and I don't remember any of the conversation. It's just interesting. I'm very fascinated with trauma and what we remember and what we choose to block out.
And what we don't even choose to block
out.
It's just our brain does that sometimes.
To protect us. That's what dissociation is. It's literally to protect us because it's telling our bodies, we're not safe right now. We're not safe. We need to get out of this space.
Yeah.
So it's heavy.
The divorce was extremely messy.
Right. Did you see your dad at all? Were there visitations?
Not until later on. So probably a year or two into the divorce, it took a while.
Wow. Was he trying to see you? Do you know?
He wanted full custody.
And what were your feelings? Did you want to see your dad? I mean, as a kid, you probably like...
My family is like rallying me, like, you know, your father did bad things, like, you shouldn't want him.
Right.
I was always a daddy's girl.
Right.
Which I think also caused a lot of turmoil with my brother. Like, and so I'm like, well, I miss him, you know, like I wanted to see him, but I couldn't, and I knew like if I said that, then it wouldn't be good, because my brothers would be like, he's a bad man, and you need to talk on our behalf, and you know, you need to help your mother win, because if you love your mother, like you're gonna help her win this. But you know,
it's not fair though to put on a child though. It's conflicting as it is. That doesn't help. And
even with everything I knew that happened, I was like, well, I'm still gonna miss my dad. He's my dad.
Yeah.
I know he did bad things. It was just wild because we had a court-appointed lawyer for us, the children. My mom had her own lawyer, and then my dad had a lawyer. So there were 3 different things going on. And I remember me and my 2 brothers, we would go and we'd have our meetings with the lawyer because they didn't want to have us kids go into court, the family court, for this. So he would speak on our behalf. And I just wouldn't really say anything. I remember, I think it had to be my 11th birthday. My parents had to spend it. And they went in the morning. My mom didn't get home until like 2-3 in the afternoon. And I just remember watching TV all day. I think by the time I had woken up, my mom had already left the court. So when he came home, he had a stack of things. And she's like, your father wanted me to give this to you, and he knows that you like arts and crafts, so this is from him. And I just took it, and it was like, decorate your own wall thing, and then like decorating little tiles to make a necklace, I think. I just quietly opened it up, and I started coloring it, and I wrote on the back, like, August 8th, 2013. But unfortunately, a lot of things in mine have gotten thrown away by my brother. And yeah, it was just really difficult. And I think from that day on, I stopped enjoying my birthday, because every birthday after that, I'd spend it in my room until my mom was like, what do you want to do for dinner? Like, do you want something special? And I was just like,
well, hopefully now, because now you have control over your life. You have control of who you let in and the love and the kindness that you can surround yourself. So hopefully you can redefine what your birthday means to you. And
the past couple of years reaffirmed that I don't like my birthday, because very bad things happened on my birthday.
Understood.
Years, so it's like, oh. So hopefully the next year.
Yeah, hopefully you can reclaim that, though.
Yeah. This year was a pretty decent birthday, so I'm glad about that.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad too. I'm glad. Yeah, but looking at your situation so far, it's kind of like seeing how your father was awful to your brother, and seeing your brother was awful to you, and sometimes it's just you see the chain, and not saying it's okay, but and then seeing how he favored you also, your father favored you in a way, he probably was like angry about that, and so the racist tendency, it's a lot, but it always interlinks. Yeah, but it doesn't make it okay that he's acting like this, obviously, but so what were your, like, as this stuff was going on, what were you feeling? Like, you must have been so confused probably, and torn and unsure. Like, what are your as you reflect on it now, what do you want to say or think or feel?
For a lot of it, I was just empty. I didn't feel anything. I always joke that it took me a long time to cry. Because I didn't cry.
Right.
And until about 15 or 16 is when I started crying and really feeling everything. But during this, when it was all happening, I wasn't the type to just be in my room sobbing. I did everything to just ignore it. Whether that was locking myself in my room and playing Minecraft for 12 hours straight, which was a common occurrence.
Right.
Because if I had my headphones on, I couldn't hear anything that was happening outside.
So you stayed with your mom until adulthood, essentially, or?
Just about, so they kind of came to a point where we were doing once a week for like 2-hour visitations. And then that changed into, okay, you're going to go and start spending the night at or every other weekend with your father. It kind of got to a point where my brother decided he didn't want to do it anymore. Oh. Cool, okay, whatever. Just on the visitational racing, this kind of skips all the way to my senior year when things got so bad at my mom's. And I was like, I'm going to go live with my dad. I'm taking all my stuff and I'm going over there because I just can't do it. I can't be in this environment.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was like, this is horrible. Like, I hate my school. I hate being around this part of my family right now. I can't do it. My mom turned heavily towards religion during this time because a lot of people, obviously, when they're going through hardships, they need something to latch onto. For some people, it's, their vices, whether it's, substance addiction, chemical addictions, or gambling, or anything. Or some people, it's religion. And my mom was religion. It got to a point where all I heard was, God is going to fix this for us. You just have to pray to God because he wouldn't give people things that they can't handle, that type of thing.
And I feel like some people might watch and be like, well, what's wrong with that?
Yeah. So for me, there's nothing inherently wrong, but when you're saying, in terms of, in my mind, I took it as God made this happen. God is the reason why my dad beat my mom and why my brother is essentially abusing me in my own home. And I remember for a long time there, I would pray. I would ask God and I'd be like, dear God, if there's one out there right now, can you please just make this stop? Can you please let my mom be happy and give us peace? And it never happened. And so it started becoming like, he doesn't care. And so that's when it started to turn. And I remember, I was in 7th grade, and I was like, I'm not going to church school anymore. I'm not going to church with you anymore. I absolutely will not set foot in church anymore.
How did that go over at home?
Not good. Yeah. My mother screamed and screamed and screamed, saying, you're, she just wasn't happy. She was like, I want my children to be raised in the house of the Lord, that type of thing. And I was like, absolutely not. No, thank you. I'm done. Because all I do is pray and cry and beg and scream for something.
What's going on? I see shadows.
Yeah, he's shoveling out there.
Oh, that's cute. Okay. We're doing something special in here. Don't make noise.
Why would I trauma put something special?
Yeah, literally.
There was a point where my mom and me were fighting about something, and my grandma got involved somehow. We were fighting, and my mom has this because she would go to shrines, and she'd drag me with her. And we went on this overnight retreat once, and she got holy water, a little pot of holy water, and she opens it, she starts throwing it at me. She's like, this is because you're a fucking devil. You're going hell. And my grandma's like, you're going straight to hell. You're a fucking monster. You're like the devil. And they were both screaming at me. Because I was being a teenager and, having behavioral problems. I'm hormonal. I'm sorry. I'm bleeding all the time. I don't know what to tell you. And she's throwing holy water at me. And I'm like, this is why you're fucking miserable. Why are you doing this to me? And I lock myself in my room and my grandma's banging on the door. Open the fucking door. Open the fucking door. And then afterwards, they pretended it never happened.
I hate the pretend it never happened. Some people think time passing is an apology, and that's not really an apology.
No. Wow. And that happened a lot where it's my mom would just be like, go to the store, and she'd be like, I got you something. And I'm presents were a lot of, I don't like getting given things because that was my mom's way of saying sorry besides her actually saying sorry.
Giving gifts, yeah.
But she would buy me stuff because I think she was trying to fill a void where she thought she was lacking. And I was just I just wanted your love. I want to be held. I want my mommy.
Right.
So That was actually when she was with my ex-stepfather, her ex-husband, because she did get married twice, and she was going through a lot of stress with that because he was not a great man. He put her through hell. He would like just be horrible. This was like pretty soon after the divorce, and I think she's where I get my attachment style from, because like, oh, it's okay. Like, I get out of a relationship with him,
bounce to another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, my mom did it, and she was married to my father for like 30 years. Because she was about my age, maybe a little younger, when they got married. And then I think my mom was like late 40s when they got divorced. So they were together for a long time. And then, like, suddenly there's a man in my home who's not my father. Like, what are you doing?
You're like, who's this stranger?
You know, and
literal stranger.
And nobody liked him. Like, we were all like, hi, goodbye. You're like 30 years my mother's senior.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Wow.
He fought in Vietnam. I just started drinking really heavily in high school. Like, my mom had wine that she would keep to cook with, and I stole it to my room, and I drank the entire bottle to myself. And it was insane. Like, I'd get very drunk in my room. But when I started working at this water park, my father had a heart attack. And one of the big things was my brother blamed me because I was going through all these issues. And so my dad's in the hospital. He had to go through a double bypass. And one of the things my brother was like, this is all your fault. If you didn't cause him so much stress, he wouldn't have had a heart attack. But in the moment, I was like, well, it's my fault, then whatever. So I think 2 nights after that, I went up to my brother's room and I poured a pint glass full of Fireball, like a pint glass, and I chugged the entire thing. And I ended up doing acts of self-harm. I cut myself a lot, like very deep, to the point where they probably should have had stitches and I got infected, but I didn't obviously reach out for help. I just remember kind of in my blackout after doing that, I went up to my brother's room and I was just like explaining, like, I've been hurt a lot by people. They did bad things to me. And
is this the bad brother or is this the other brother?
The other brother.
Okay.
He's always been kind of like a quiet spectator.
Right.
And he was like, oh dear God. And I just I was
sorry, but oh dear God.
Yeah. I was like bleeding everywhere, and I was like, I'm smoking cigarettes and I'm drinking, and I don't know what to do, and people hurt me and they did bad things to me, and I was like, oh God.
And so did anything come from that, or did he keep it between you two?
He kept it between me and him until my mother barges into my room. I was wearing shorts so she could see, like, it was on my thighs. Mm-hmm. And she was like, what is that? And I'm like, what? And she's like, no, let me see. And she's like, oh my God, why would you do this to yourself? Your beautiful skin. I'm like, be for real, Mom. Why do you care about my beautiful skin? I just cut myself, like, really deep. And she's like, you need stitches. And I'm like, it's too late for that. Like, it's been like 2 weeks and they're still healing. But I was like, I probably should have gotten stitches. But then all of a sudden she was always really against me getting therapy and getting on meds. And I was like, well, guess it's time for that. And she was like, okay, we're going to get you a therapist. We're going to get you on meds. Like, they're going to do all these things. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. And so that was that. And then it kind of just got worse later on in life. Like, I started experimenting with a lot of things, like hallucinogenics, and because it numbed it. If I wasn't in a normal plane of thought, then I wouldn't have to deal with it. Right? I wouldn't have to deal with all these things that people do.
But you're how old? 15, 16 then? And
yeah.
It's just wild because I'm hearing so many stories so far with interviewing people, and it's like doing such, not adult things, but it's like, you look back and you're just
a little baby.
It really is.
Like, I
it breaks my heart.
Of myself, and I was like, you were just a baby. You look the same, but you were just a baby.
It's just because I look at, like, my nephews and stuff, and I'm like, when I was that little, people like, how could you do these things to people? Yeah. It's like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Like, why? What in your heart makes it so that you have to hurt other people to feel okay? But yeah, no, I'm just like this little itty bitty baby, and I'm like partying until like 2 a.m, like getting obliterated. Like, I'm smoking so much weed and drinking my body weight in liquor.
And you're out late at night.
Yeah. So I'd sneak out and I'd have my friend park it. So we have an elementary school near our house. So I'd have them pick me up there. So I'd walk there. So, because it's a cul-de-sac, like everyone's gonna know, like, oh, your daughter got into a car at like 12 at night. Like grown ass men, like giving me liquor and drugs. And I'm like,
what's wrong with them for doing that?
Trauma on their part. But, you know, it was just crazy to think that like, I was sneaking out of my house and like getting in these strangers' cars who I didn't even know. Like they just hit me up on like Facebook or something and just go hang out. I'm like, I could have died. I think about that a lot because like I was just like going to hang out with strange people. Like I'd get in their car and they'd drive me somewhere and we just hang out and like get drunk. And I'm like, and sometimes, you know, there were like 2 occasions where they were not nice. You know, they were not nice. And things happened. That's under a different topic of the video.
Yeah, no worries, yeah.
But yeah, I just heavily started leaning into it. Like there was a point where I was like doing so much. Like the minute I woke up, I had to get high or I could not function. Like I had to, you know, either hit my pen or smoke a bowl or like do some dabs, all those types of things. Like I had to. I was like, don't talk to me if I haven't smoked today. So I was kind of like, I was very explosive. I had a lot of explosive anger when I was a teenager. Like I would break things in my house and in my room. I wouldn't break anything in the house, but my belongings, I would destroy them if I was upset. You know, I'm me and I'm in my pretty pink room and I'm just having this most explosive anger ever. And I'm just like, ah. Anyone who grew up on the internet probably knows about grooming, being groomed. I was heavily groomed between the ages of 12 to literally 17. There were a lot of people who ranged anywhere from like their mid-20s all the way up to like 50 years old. And it was really rough because at one point I got into this like relationship when I was like 12 with a 17-year-old boy, and he'd be like, send me pictures. I want pictures. Send me pictures. I'm like, I'd send him a selfie. He's like, that's not what I want. I'm like, I'm at dinner. He's like, I don't care. Go to the bathroom. I'm like, okay. And then I ended it because I was like, he was crazy, and he somehow like weaseled his way back in to like this friend group I had, and he was like, I'm gonna tell everyone how much of a crazy bitch you are, and I'm gonna share all your pictures with them. And then it was just like the typical like, oh, you're really mature and you're so beautiful, like you carry yourself like a woman and that type of thing. And I'm like, I'm 13.
You're so mature for your age. Yeah, I hate it.
I'm like, I'm 13, but you know what? I wanted the attention. I wanted to feel wanted because I didn't feel wanted. So I'd like latch on to it and I'd eat it up. And then when I was like 16 or 17, and this kind of trails back into when I was drinking a lot, people, they'd like feed me a bunch of alcohol and weed and get me like really drunk and then like get me into bed basically. Even though I didn't have any intention of ever wanting to. But they'd like be like, come on, let's go.
They saw someone they could take advantage of essentially. Yeah,
and they'd like would give me all this like liquor and they keep trying to booze me up, and like I would take it because like I'm young and traumatized. I want, you know, like, oh, you're just giving this because you think I'm a good friend. No.
Yeah, looking in hindsight, you know.
You know, and then next thing you know, I'm waking up and I'm like, why am I in your bed?
Yeah, it's just not okay. Yeah. It's not okay how people think they can get away with this.
A lot of it, I was molested by my own brother.
Was it that brother?
Mm-hmm. So there was a long period of time between middle school and high school where he would basically try to touch me. Like he'd bring me up to his room and he'd be like, how many boys are you talking to? Like you're being a slut. And I was like, I'm a virgin. I don't even think I've held a boy's hand right now. So like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he'd like call me up and be like, oh, I need help in a project for school or whatever. And then he'd like corner me and like try to put his hands down my pants and all this stuff. And it never escalated past that point, but it was just a constant thing where he was like just doing that a lot. And I tried to tell my mom, but she didn't really believe me. She was like, siblings fight. And I'm like, Siblings don't touch each other.
It's not a fight. That's very inappropriate.
Siblings do not touch each other. So that was hard. And I think it was this past spring, actually, I got into like a really big thing with my mom because I was trying to explain to her like what happened on the phone, and I'm just screaming, and I just remember saying, Mommy, why don't you believe me? I'm curled up on my floor sobbing. I'm like, Mommy, why won't you listen to me? And my boyfriend at the time literally had gotten to my house and like came up, and I'm on the floor like hitting my head out of frustration, like actually, and I'm just screaming, why don't you believe me? Don't you love me? Why won't you believe your own daughter? Like why can't you accept like this happened in your home? And I tried to tell you, and she's like, I don't know who put that in your head, like your father, what is he telling you to say? Like she never believed that anyone could have their own emotions, especially us kids. Like me specifically, she's like, your father's poisoning your mind. And I'm like, no, this is something that actually happened. And then she talked to me, probably a couple weeks after that. I went to go see her in person. She's like, can we talk? And she's like, when was this happening? Like she sat down and she wanted to hear me actually talk about it. And she's like, I am very sorry that happened to you in this house and that I didn't do anything to stop it.
Wow, that's gonna make me cry a little bit. Because I think what we all need to be told is that I believe you.
She was like, do you want me to talk to him? And I was like, no. And I was like, I tried to tell you when it was happening that you weren't listening. And she was like, I'm very sorry. She's like, I was going through a lot and I wasn't able to be present for you kids.
Yeah. And how do you feel?
It felt strange, but I felt like I could breathe a little bit easier after that, because it was a really hard conversation. It's not a fun conversation to have with your mom that like, hey, your actual spawn did something bad to me.
Yeah, wow. But I'm glad she came to that conclusion, like I should listen to my child. When they're saying someone harmed me, I'm supposed to protect them, and unfortunately.
And I think her response to me telling her what happened was in the fact that like, it's hard as a mother and I'm not a mother, but I could imagine it's hard as a mother to hear that your child not only was harmed, but harmed by your other child.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go about that?
I am glad, though, that she's had some wake-up call, because you shouldn't have to have that moment on the phone where you're like, why don't you believe me? Why don't, what do I have to do? Because we all deserve to be believed.
Because in that moment, I felt like a child again, begging for someone to finally listen to me, like to the point where I was calling her mommy.
Yeah, I remember I was 19 when I cut off my mom, and then like some time had passed, and I went through this bad breakup, and I was like trapped in a town 2 hours away from where I was. And I called her up, and I was like, I said, Mommy too. I was like, Mommy, your boy needs you. Oh, God. Yeah, gross. But it's okay. It's not to make it about me.
But that's the beautiful part of being humans, that we can share stories and not take away from other experiences. Yeah. It's just saying, like, I can feel for you. I understand, because I went through something similar. Like, I always feel bad when I'm talking about, like, when someone's talking about something and I bring up my experiences, because I'm not trying to take away the thunder or anything. I'm just trying to relate to you in the best way that I know, and that's through my own experiences.
I think it's interesting we both went to that childlike place during that moment of desperation. Yeah. It's something to think about.
Yeah.
Wow. If the world showed up for you in the way that you actually needed, what would support have looked like for younger you?
Just someone to talk to, really. Like, in middle school, I was very isolated. People didn't accept me because, like, I'm Asian in this very country town. Like, no one liked me. And I'm, like, trying to discover who I am while my parents are getting divorced. So, like, I just needed someone to talk to, someone to be a friend, like an actual friend to me. I needed academic support. I needed someone to understand that I was struggling because of everything happening at home. Like, my grades dropped dramatically. I was always a very studious child. I knew my material, like, I was very good in school, and then this all happened, and then suddenly I didn't know, like, what's 2 + 2? Like, I couldn't function in basic senses. So let's talk about my citizenship now.
So go on.
So when I worked at that water park, I lost my social security card.
Oh, wow.
So when I went to go try to get a replacement, they were like, you need to reprove your citizenship, so you need to bring in documentation. We didn't have that. We bring in the paper that the judge said, oh, this is your pass. This is basically saying you're a citizen.
Right.
Absolutely not. It was not. That started a whole 7-year process. I actually went through my naturalization ceremony this last October. And I finally got my license back in January. So this is almost officially my first year of having a license and being officially a citizen again. Because at the time, this whole time, I was a legal alien. And so it was about $3,200 in fees to not only just submit the paperwork, but to get back denials, saying insufficient paperwork, insufficient evidence, things like that. And I even talked to an immigration lawyer, and she had me do this thing. I went through the citizenship test, actually, and then about 2 weeks later, I got a denial saying that while you obviously passed, this isn't the right form. And on that paperwork, they told me the form I had to do, which is an application for naturalization. So,
how did those early experiences with family, race, and religion shape the way you move through other spaces now?
It's weird because it made it difficult, but it made it better. Because now I'm the type of person where I give people a lot of grace. I give them so much grace because I know, like, they could be experiencing things at home, or maybe they're struggling with their identity, or maybe, they don't understand their own thoughts and beliefs on religion. Like, I was very, like, man, I don't like God type of thing. But now I'm like, everyone needs something, and I don't care what you believe in as long as you're a good person at heart. So a lot of that is like, I hold space for Black and brown voices. Everyone should. I hold space for queer voices. I hold space for voices from all religions, because everyone needs a little bit of that, just to have the freedom to express themselves and feel what they need to feel, if that makes sense.
No. As someone who's creating this document, yeah, it makes sense. And giving people a voice. Who does that?
Crazy people.
No, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, that's awesome.
So it changed my perspective, especially as I've gotten older and I've done a lot of self-reflecting. Like, I hold more space for even, like, especially for those in the Christian and Catholic following, because they are doing just as everyone else is doing. They're trying to survive. And in this present world, that's all anyone wants to do, is just survive. On a level, we all want to be happy and have peace, but right now, a lot of people are just trying to survive.
We need to be better to one another, like, we really do.
And if having that religion stops you from doing something that could change everything, then have it. Like, if that is what makes you wake up in the morning, is to read a Bible verse, or to pray the rosary, or go to the mosque or something, if that is what keeps you going, absolutely do it, because there should be no judgment held in doing what you need to do to wake up to see the sunrise another time and to get to experience the sunset.
You really should be proud of yourself.
Thank
because
you.
It takes a while to have
does.
some peace and accepting the things that have happened to you, and accepting that some things just can't be explained.
And it's come to a point where, like, having conversations with one of my friends, where I actually went out and I bought a pocket Bible to have, just to have. So if I'm feeling down or something, I can read a verse, and it has like a little thing where it's like, this part talks about this and this, and it feels freeing knowing that I'm comfortable enough to have that in my possession. Because even 2 years ago, I would have been like, absolutely not, get that thing away from me.
Right, yeah.
My friend was like, do you want to go to Sunday Mass with me? And I'm like, as much as I'm trying to explore coming back to religion, I'm not at a place where I feel comfortable enough to be in a church. I think that it might set me back, and I want to take this at my own pace.
Yeah.
And I said, I appreciate you putting out the offer for me to go with you, because if I was to go with anyone, it'd be that friend.
Yeah.
Because our conversations is the reason why I'm starting to feel more comfortable exploring religion. I'm very spiritual. I believe that in some way, shape, or form, the universe has a profound effect on everything. Like, everything is energy, cannot be created or destroyed. And that is very true. When you die, you don't exactly die. Your energy gets transferred. It gets transferred to the plants around you, to the air you breathe, to the animals that are still living, and into the people. Because, well, I don't believe exactly that you go to heaven or hell. I believe that once you die, your soul is pure energy. It's not this quantifiable thing. It is just energy. And it doesn't just leave. It doesn't go to somewhere else. It goes to the people and the things that you were most connected to while you were still on this plane. I always talk to myself, like, if little 13 to 15-year-old me saw me today, they'd be like, oh, you're so cool. And I'm like, I am cool.
Yeah, they'd look up to you, be inspired by you.
They'd be like, oh my God, I never thought I'd be able to have that. You have your hair dyed and you have all these piercings that you wanted, and you're super cool. You're living in an apartment with a super cool person, and they'd be like, oh.
Yeah, I think that's important to remember when we're hard on ourselves, because obviously we're all works in progress and stuff, but the moments that we're bullying ourselves, I gotta be younger me would be look up to us as a hero.
Boots the house down.
Boots the house down.
They'd be like, you're slaying it. And I'm that's what I try to tell myself when I'm feeling down. I'm I'm not where I thought I'd be by now, but I'm doing better. I'm getting there.
Yeah. You're doing great. I
Thank
want you to
you.
know that. Yeah. So I want you to know you're doing great, and you should be very proud of yourself. Just saying. In the middle of your healing, what still brings you joy or makes you feel the most like yourself?
Honestly, it's the littlest things, me admiring a plant outside, because I've always loved outdoors. My mom, everyone could attest to this. There were times where I'd come in and my mom's absolutely not. Take off your shoes, even your socks, go to the bathroom and rinse off. You are not walking through my house covered in mud and sticks.
You said earlier you were playing in the mud.
Yeah.
And look, now you're saying that, and I'm oh, really in the mud though?
Yeah, actually in the mud. I'd fill up a bucket with water and I'd walk around and I'd collect the finest dirt I could, because I didn't like the texture of big chunks in the dirt.
There's some tism.
Yeah, there is.
Rhythm with the tism.
Yeah, absolutely, I do. But whenever even just walking into my apartment, there's that beautiful plant that has the little red buds on it. I admire it every day I walk in here. Those are the things that reconnect me with when I was little, and there was a wild mint plant and a green onion, a wild green onion plant that was next to the garden that we had. And I'd go over and I'd just grab handfuls of it and I'd pulverize it with a rock, and then I'd make a potion like most kids do, right?
Yes.
I would make potions, and I would just sit there and I'd have this handful of mint, and I'd just be huffing it. So I love the sentiment.
What have you done or are you doing now to reclaim your own story, your culture, your identity on your terms rather than the version that was put on you?
I'm discovering cooking a lot. I'm really getting and finding these recipes that you would find in a traditional Korean home, things that could bring comfort. And I'm really leaning into that, and I'm leaning back into art. And I'm just taking and doing things for myself. I'm getting all these piercings because I want them. I don't care if people think they look good on me or not. I want them. They make me happy. I like the art that I create. It makes me happy. I like the food I make. It makes me happy. My roommate loves the food I make. It makes her happy. Right. And she does laundry. Yes. I do love sculpting. I haven't had access to clay in so long. I have to go get some.
It's time.
But yeah, it's time. I love watercolor. For me, it's watercolor is one of those mediums where you almost have the the littlest amount of control over where it goes. And for me, it's like I'm giving up that control, which I love to have a lot of control. Like everything needs to go to a T because I feel so spiraling all the time.
Right.
So I'm like gripping on for dear life to control. But with watercolor, I just have to breathe and know that wherever the pigment lays, it's going to lay. And that's okay. It has to be okay.
Wow. But unfortunately, we
Yeah.
gotta wrap up.
Like I am.
I love this.
There's
I
a
love
lot
hearing
to
your
me.
hardest moments. Tell me more.
Your trauma is my ad revenue.
Oh my gosh, awful.
And I like that I can laugh about it now.
Yes, exactly. You gotta have some sort of humor.
Besides therapy, this is probably the first time that I've actually sat down and not made a joke out of it. Well, there's been a couple, but like I've actually like opened up about all this.
Yeah. How do you feel now that we're like near the end?
Wild. Like there is this part where it's like you talk about your trauma and you dissociate a little bit, but the jokes kind of bring me back, and I'm like, it's not happening, so I don't need to protect myself. Like I'm home. Somebody who I trust enough, obviously, to bring into my home and talk about this is here. Like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go to the mall after this and spend money.
Exactly. That's why I try to remember. I'm like, when I'm having those moments of anxieties and flashback, and I'm like, I'm not there anymore. There's like nothing that can physically harm me right now. Now it's just in my head. So to remember, like, I'm not in immediate danger. I'm
exactly,
good.
Yeah. So I'm like, we're chilling. I'm chilling. Like, it felt good to do this.
What are you most hopeful about life? Yeah, what does the other side of this look like for you, even if you're still walking towards it?
Getting to be more comfortable with myself, getting to experience things that I want to experience, getting the opportunity to be happy and to have a life of peace and to know what it feels like to be comfortable in my own bed. That's the biggest thing. Is like I've never been able to feel like comfortable in my own home, but for like the first time now, I feel like I'm in a place where I belong.
That's beautiful. And I'm glad. And I hope you hold on to that and remember that, because you're a great person and you deserve to be gentle with yourself. So
I think everyone deserves to be gentle with themselves. I think everyone deserves to give themselves, like, you could give everyone the space they need, but you have to remember that you need to give yourself that space as well, because being kind to other people doesn't make up for the fact that you bully yourself. You look in the mirror and you hate who you see. And that is something that you and only you can work on. You can have people to hold your hand and support you, but you have to, at the end of the day, do all the hard work. And it's hard. It's hard to do that.
You always have yourself, though. You always have yourself.
No matter what, you will always have to live in your physical being. You're going to have to be in your head. So why not put the work in to make that a space where you feel comfortable to the point where you want to be in your own skin, whether that's exploring your gender identity, exploring your religion and being open and free about it, changing your physical appearance. You know, it doesn't matter what you need to do. If you're not intrinsically hurting yourself or others to get there, give yourself space. Be gentle. Be the person that you wish younger you had to hold you and tell you it's okay.
Yeah, and it's worth it. It really is always worth it, because I'm so glad I stuck it out, because I'm the happiest year of my life.
Aww.
And I'm just saying, and I'm like, if I didn't, I always didn't think I would make it to 18. I'm like, I'm glad, because I wouldn't have done these amazing things. I would have met you. I wouldn't be helping people.
We wouldn't have been able to do this project that's going to touch a lot of people, to the point where I was like, hey, Jacob, I know you don't know me, but I know you. I know you.
I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you.
So these are stories told with care. This is just the beginning of a much larger conversation. But for now, thank you for watching.